So I have this delicious, we call it Pasta Fazool. Now, that's how we say it. Every family might pronounce it a little differently, but that's the Nargisel Philippine family would say Pasta Fazool, and you knew something yummy was going to be for dinner. It is delicious. Believe it or not, I never knew anything about vegan, didn't know the word, but my Italian mama and my Syrian papa and a lot of those yummy good things from the Mediterranean are vegan, so surprise. So what we have is tomato puree. You have a little bit of tomato. You can use crushed. Some people like the whole tomato. Give it a good squeeze, so whatever you like, it'll be delicious. So we use tomato puree, and also my mother always used Great Northern beans, so it has to be, for me, traditional. We do that all the time. So we have our Great Northern beans. Put a little onion, garlic. You always start everything with some onion and garlic, oregano, salt and pepper, and I do use a little bit of the non-dairy cheese. It's Follow Your Heart Parmesan, and it is very delicious. And traditionally we would have it on ditalini, but I also like to just have a more whole grain, and you know, if I can give my family something a little bit with a little more nutrition, I'll sneak that in. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use some quinoa today. So we're going to put it on some quinoa. And my sisters, I really would like you guys to try this because you will love it. You'll be licking your chops just like you would with the ditalini, I promise. I can show you this is going to take under 20 minutes. Well, hopefully, hopefully my water will boil in time. But once your water boils, from that point, you should be good. My quinoa going. So here we go. I'm going to start with 2 cups of quinoa. Now, honestly, I have to be honest. When I'm really having fun. I hope you guys are too. So what I usually do, I will make my pasta pot with quinoa. So we've done it many different ways. I'm going to do simple and not a lot of added flavors to it because I do think the Pasta Fazool's I just want that to come out and shine. So I'm not going to add different things to the quinoa, but you could actually start it with a little olive oil and garlic or olive oil and onion. And when you put your water, get some kind of bouillon. We have that a more natural kind of thick paste bouillon, and I can't remember the name of it. I wish I did because I don't want to. But anyway, yes. But beyond bouillon, no. Anyway, so we're gonna put this on high. Give it a little stir so that the quinoa gets submerged, and I'm gonna put a few cracks of salt in here. And I will tell you, I'm very ginger with the salt these days. It's ready, because that's all you got to do with the quinoa. You know, we're just going to do it straight up plain with the salt, and then we're going to have the juice from the Pasta Fazool, the sauce and the beans, and it's going to be delicious. Oh, and I wanted to tell you that Pasta Fazool means beans and pasta. So actually, you probably knew that already, pasta and beans. But we're not making it with pasta this time, but please, you know, feel free. It's really delicious with pasta too. But we do like to get our whole grain in every once in a while during the week, and then you can splurge a little bit on the weekends if you like. So I usually do a rough chop, nothing too specific. I don't mind the nice chunks of onion in once they've been simmered and sauteed in the olive oil. Good flavor. So that's the 1 onion. Chop, chop, chop. There we go. Oops. And I'm going to stop for a moment and get my oil warming. I'm heating up. Nice, good, full flavor, extra virgin olive oil is really what you want. And I don't measure it. I kind of eyeball it, and I do like there to be a good coating on the bottom. I don't know if you want to see mine, because that's another thing that's very personal to people. I'm going to come over here and get this in here. I'm trying to show you. I don't know if I can do this, but we'll give it a whirl. There we go. Now it should be simmering, sizzling. I don't know if you can hear it sizzling a little bit. There, maybe if I stop talking, you might hear it a little bit better. Okay, nice sizzle. So, there we go. Now, next, I'm going to give it a little bit of a stir here. Ah, you can hear that nice sizzle. That's beautiful. You want nice hot oil. I have this handy dandy garlic mincer, and I'll say if we're going under 20 minutes, I'm going to use the garlic mincer if that's okay with you, because those weeknights, every little second counts. me chopping really fine garlic. And I don't mind the chunks of garlic actually if I didn't get it too fine, but some people don't prefer the chunks of garlic. So I'm going to want to just get it nice and squeezy tiny with the mincer and get it in here super quick. Don't mind my fingers, everything's nice and clean. There you go, get that in there. Get all the little bits of garlic because you don't want to miss a drop of that beautiful tastiness that God made for us to enjoy. And once you get these two things going, let me tell you, you talk about memories. It's when our family would drive up to my Nonny's house, my Nonny and my Aunt Jenny's house, and you would just be driving on her block and you would smell the onion and the garlic through the whole neighborhood, and you knew that Nonny and Aunt Jenny were cooking something yummy for you, and you were on your way. And it could have been a nice big pot of Pasta Fazool for us. Okay, so that's gonna simmer a little bit. I'm gonna get that a little bit, like I like it to get nice and, what is that, like crystallized, not quite caramelized, not quite that dark yet, but you want it really to be wilty and oh, what's that word, like, I want to say clear, but I want to say it in a more culinary way. What is it? Translucent? How about that? So you want them to be nice and translucent. So we give them a nice stir. Oh, the smell. Oh, it smells. This is heaven. Yes, I do think this is heaven. There's going to be a lot of onion and garlic in heaven, let me tell you. Yeah, I wish you guys could smell this. I'd like to give you the scent wherever you are. There you are. You smell the goodness. Okay. Our quinoa has started to boil, so I'm just turning it down right away. Simple. And let it just simmer there for a few more minutes. Just a couple of stirs. Oh, that garlic's getting nice and brown. If you ever cooked onions and garlic, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That beautiful brownness. Delicious. There you go. Okay, I think we're set. Now, I will say, you have to be a little careful putting this in because you want that sizzle when you put the tomato in, but you don't want to get it all over you or the sink. I mean the stove. So, here we go. Give this a little. Here, you heard that little sizzle sound. And I usually keep it high just for a few minutes before it starts kind of plopping out of the pot. There. I will say something else here, and not just, you know, this funny, I feel like I'm giving a plug to the Tuttorosso tomato, but for some reason that's always been good. They've always been really good tomatoes. So, and it's something that we used a lot growing up. So I just kind of happened to go with that brand. But I'm sure any tomato, lots of tomatoes are good, but it's just something that I've always found to be very yummy and delicious. So I'm gonna get this going a little bit there. And honestly, the days that you're not in a hurry, you want to let your sauce simmer a little bit longer. You could do that. You know what happens when you simmer sauce? It only gets better. The tomatoes only get sweeter the longer they cook. So it's starting to plop a little bit. So in go the beans. And like I said, you could probably use any kind of beans you like. You know, whatever your favorite bean is. We just traditionally have always made this with the Great Northerns, and so that to me is what my family's Pasta Fazool should be like. So I do put the liquid in, and I'm gonna say after I stir it, you want this to be super runny and thin because it is gonna go on top of the, you know, you want it to be absorbed by your grain or quinoa. Normally, now let's go back to this, the traditional Pasta Fazool. So when you make it with pasta, you want something small that you could scoop it with a spoon, and in every bite you get the pasta and you get the beans. You want it all in one yummy bite, one yummy mouthful, so you want to be able to get it all. So you want a small pasta, or we're doing the quinoa, you get the same benefit. So you could do so much with the bean base, the bean and sauce base. You can put that over all kinds of things if you didn't want to put it on the quinoa, or you can add the greens to the quinoa, and that would be fabulous. So it's just so versatile. You could do so much with it, and you could make it so fast. So it's a perfect weeknight. I'm in a rush. You know, you've got schedules, you've got work, you've got, you know, things to do with your family, and you want to have as much time with your family at the table. You don't want to spend it all in the kitchen cooking while everybody else is doing their own thing, and then you sit down, you got 5 minutes to eat. You want the time together in the kitchen, and that's the most important thing. You want to spend time looking at each other's faces and talking and hearing about everybody's day and enjoying something so delicious. So I think we did this pretty quick. Oh, now I'm gonna come up, I didn't do my salt and pepper. So I'm gonna learn how to talk and cook at the same time, but this is my first YouTube, so you have to be patient with me. So you have to add some salt. Always add some salt to your sauce. And growing up, it was interesting. We would always, like the rule of thumb was about a teaspoon of salt for about a can, one large can. I do cut that back a lot. So, and I will say I use the Himalayan pink salt. It seems to have a little more flavor, so you don't need as much to begin with. And then, you know, if you're, for whatever reason, wanting to cut back on your salt, you can do that. Also, loved cracked pepper, so we're gonna crack some pepper in here too. Lots of nice pepper. I like to see that on top. I always have to have some oregano, so I'm gonna put some of this in here. Better, but if you don't have fresh, whatever you have on hand, and it needs to, you have to keep it simple, keep it easy for yourself, so that it's something you can do quickly on those busy nights. And whatever you've got, you're gonna put in, and it's gonna be perfect. Just as much as you like, as much or as little. We like a good oregano flavor, because honestly, oregano and beans go so well together. That is my favorite combo. So I have to put some oregano in always, always. And I happen to have some fresh basil that I chopped up here, and I'm gonna put a couple of spritz of that in here too, some nice fresh basil. I do cut my fresh basil, especially when I'm in a hurry and it's a quick sauce, because I wanna make sure that that basil flavor gets in every bite. So we're gonna stir it really nice and let that simmer together too. Now, some people like to put their basil in whole, and my aunt used to do it all the time, and that was really yummy. But at this point, round and round it goes. I'm gonna save some to put on when it's done. And I really think we did it. And it's done. So there you have it. Oh, one more. I'll take a deep sniff. Oh my goodness, it's delicious. Makes my mouth water. Oh, I just love it. There. I have to say, that was one thing. When I became vegan, the only thing I really missed, to be honest with you, was my Parmesan cheese or Romano. And this is so delicious. They have done an amazing job. So this is the moment you've been waiting for. We're ready to eat some. So I'm gonna take a bowl, and I happen to have my husband's bowl that he made. He loves to work with pottery, and this is just a perfect size, nice and smooth. It's all about the feel, how the bowl feels in your hands and what's inside it. So we're gonna put some quinoa in here, scoop a couple of spoonfuls, and however you like it. I want you to just feel free to make it any way you want, and know that the quinoa is so good for you, so you're gonna want some nice quinoa in there, a nice base. And then, oh, I need to get a goupine for this, because we don't wanna lose any of that juice. So I'm gonna grab a goupine from the drawer, and we're gonna get a nice scoop of that sauce and beans on top. Now, I did say with this, because I'm putting it on without cooking the quinoa in the sauce, I left it a little thick, and very thick and flavorful. It's gonna be delicious. That sauce looks so good. And I'm gonna pour some right on top here. A nice, nice, healthy scoop. There we go, right on top. And then we're gonna put a little basil on there, a few little spritz of fresh basil on top. As much as you like, as much as you want. And then we're gonna get some Parmesan cheese. Again, I'm gonna say, for those of you just jumping in now, this is vegan Parmesan, so all plant-based. You don't have to worry about getting any of that dairy in you if for whatever reason you choose not to have it. There we go. Okay, voila. Oh, doesn't that look delicious? Oh, I can't wait to take a bite of that. Oh, just smell it. It is delicious. That is the best Pasta Fazool you will eat, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope you make it, and I hope you love it as much as I do. Mwah. I hope you try this, because it is fantastic, and you will love it. And mwah, I want to hear from you. I want you to tell me how delicious it was and how much you enjoyed it. and that will make me so happy because I love to share with you something that's going to give you and enhance your time with your family, that you enjoy good food and good chat and good talk and good time together. And that's all what it's all about, just spending that good time with people you love. And I'll see you again.